Hello everyone, let's make a start. So apologies for introducing myself for a second time if you joined us earlier, but my name is Eleanor Robson. I'm Professor of Ancient Middle Eastern History at University College London, and I am Director of the Nahrein network here in London. So I'm sure lots of you know, we've been running for 6 years now, and we support and fund research by Iraqis on Iraqi history and heritage and related subjects, and ways in which those disciplines, the study of the past, can contribute to making Iraq better for the future, whether culture, society, economy, or the environment. And as part of that endeavour, we fund one graduate studentship at UCL here in London every year. So what we're going to do today is we're going to play you a short video of how the scheme works, and then that will hopefully cover all the basics, but I'm sure you'll have questions. So please, as you prefer, you can ask your questions in the chat, or you can raise your hand and speak. And we also have our current scholar with us, who may or may not choose to contribute. I will leave that to them to decide if they want to say a few words. So, as you know, this is being recorded, so just bear that in mind when you're asking your question. So I'm going to then start by asking Zainab, who has organised this webinar for us, to start playing the video, which lasts about 12 minutes, and then we'll come back and take questions. So Zainab, over to you.
Professor Eleanor Robson. I'm Director of the Nahrein network at University College London, and I'm delighted to tell you about the Nahrein network UCL graduate studentship scheme for academic year 2024-25. So what is the graduate studentship scheme? Well, we've been running since 2020-2021, and it's part of our wider programme to fund Iraqi-led research into the sustainable development of history, heritage and the humanities in Iraq, including the Kurdish region of Iraq. So we fund one studentship a year at UCL, and that is for a master's studentship, either a Master of Arts, an MA, or a Master of Sciences, MSc. And if the applicant or the successful awardee succeeds in the MA or MSc and wants to continue for the PhD, then we will provide a further 3 years funding for them to stay at UCL to do that. We work with 3 departments: the Institute of Archaeology, the Bartlett Institute for Sustainable Heritage, and the History Department. And we'll look at in more detail at the master's programs on offer in a minute. But let me tell you a bit more first about what's on offer in the studentship. So most importantly, we pay all the students' costs. That is, all of the tuition fees for full-time study for the duration of the MA and then the PhD. We pay an annual maintenance grant, which at the moment is £24,000. That is indexed to the Wellcome Trust's Science Studentship Award, so that goes up every year with inflation, and with the each year as the student progresses through their chosen program. We'll also pay reasonable relocation costs for you, and while you are in London, give you access to up to £1,000 a year for research expenses on top of that. And as I said, if the MA goes well and you want to stay at UCL and your chosen supervisor wishes to work with you, then we will support you through the PhD as well. While you're on the PhD, we can also pay reasonable support costs for dependents. However, it is really important to know that the UK government has changed its rules recently, And so now, if you are coming to the UK from anywhere in the world to study a master's degree, UK visas do not allow you to travel with family members or other dependents. So we cannot, I'm afraid, support husbands, wives, children for our scholars on the MA programme. However, for PhDs that is different, and we will help you bring your family here. I know it's very frustrating that the UK government doesn't recognise that master students are adults with families, but unfortunately we don't have any control over that. So let me say more about the programmes that are in the scheme. I'll just give you a quick list, but you need to go onto the UCL website, graduate prospectus, and read in more detail about what's on offer. So the Bartlett Institute for Sustainable Heritage offers 3 pathways through their MSc in Sustainable Heritage with various levels of technical involvement. If you're a historian, you can come to the history department and study any period of history from antiquity to the modern period, and or you can learn how to think about and use history in a public setting. And then the Institute of Archaeology offers a great range of master's programs, from quite technical ones to area studies specific programs. So do take a look at all of those. So who is eligible to apply for these very interesting MA and MSc programs? So you can apply if you are an Iraqi citizen, that is, you have an Iraqi passport, including KRI, and that you are normally resident in Iraq. So this is not for expats, this is for people who live in Iraq and plan to return after their study, and that you haven't lived or studied in the UK before. So if you have an undergraduate degree, for instance, from a British university, then you will not be eligible to apply. And this is for people that really do need this opportunity. And then the university, UCL, imposes some threshold admissions requirements for all graduate study. Bearing in mind that UCL is a world top 10 university, it does have very high academic standards. So as far as UCL is concerned, the admissions criteria for all master's programs from Iraq is that you already need an Iraqi master's with an overall mark of 80% or very good. If you have an undergraduate degree and or a master's degree from another country, although you live in Iraq, do look on the UCL graduate prospectus website where they will tell you what the expected minimum standards are. And then of course, because you will be studying English, the university also has requirements on English language competency. And so we are going to ask all applicants this year to demonstrate that proficiency before we interview you. So we're going to give you enough time to take a test if you haven't taken a test recently before the interviews. So they're slightly different depending on which program you apply for. The Bartlett Institute for Sustainable Heritage and the Institute of Archaeology are all looking for what UCL calls level 2 English language competency. There's a whole range of different English language tests that are accepted, but I've given you here I guess the 2 most popular ones, IELTS and TOEFL. But again, the UCL website gives much more detail about other alternative tests. If we're doing history, which involves a lot more reading and writing than the archaeology and cultural heritage programs, then you will need a higher level of English competency, what UCL calls level 4. And this is also, we can be confident, or the UCL can be confident that you will succeed in your program and you won't struggle to understand what you're being taught, and you will be able to read and write and submit your coursework and dissertation and get a good result. So if this all still sounds good to you, let me tell you how to apply. So First of all, as I said, make sure that you've got an up-to-date English language qualification. If you haven't got one already, prepare to take a test soon. And then our deadline for the Nahrein Networks application form, which is a very simple one, is the 15th of January. So you have a lot of time to think about what you want to do. So choose which program you want to apply for. You can only apply for one. And then tell us in the application form, write at least a paragraph about why you want to take that program and how what you've done already with your life, academically or perhaps professionally, will be relevant to that program and why you will succeed. And then if you want to stay for a PhD, or if you think you do tell us some initial ideas about that. If you just want to come and do the Masters, that's good too, just tell us that as well. There will be opportunities to develop your PhD proposal further once you're at UCL if you succeed. So this part is not so important. However, what is important for us is to see that your interests and ambitions aligns with ours. So on our website there is a page that describes our 6 research goals in Iraq, our 6 aims, and how we the network overall aims to support the sustainable development of Iraqi culture, society, economy, environment. So do think about that in your answer. That is an important part. So once you've submitted that, what happens next? Well, we will have an initial check to make sure that we have chosen, we select all of the people who are eligible to apply, that is, they meet the criteria I've just described. If you don't meet the criteria and you have applied, I'm afraid that's a waste of time. So if you are eligible, we will send your the applications to the people who run the programs in those departments. Together with us, they will choose the people they want to interview. At the point that we are selecting people to interview, which will be in late January, we will contact people we need to interview and we will ask all of them to provide English test results. If you don't have your English test results by then, we will not ask and not proceed to interview. The interviews will happen in early February, and we will aim to make a decision by late February, early March at the latest, because the UCL deadline is on the 5th of April. So all of this so far is an internal process within the network. We will then take the chosen applicant, and if they accept our offer, we will support the chosen applicant to complete the quite complex online application form for UCL. And at that point you will need your degree certificates, your passport, your English language test, and we will also write letters of support for you for your application. We will help you how to do that. And then that should all work out, that should all be very straightforward, and in due course the successful candidate will receive a formal offer of a place at UCL to start studying in September 2024. So, finding out more, simply go to our website, UCL@UK/Nahrein, follow the links to the graduate studentship page. You will find all of the information there, links to the graduate prospectus for each of the programs, links to more details to the English language requirements, visa compliance, etc. If you have any problems, please do get in touch with us. Do follow our social media, do subscribe to our email letter. Links to all of those are on our website. So thank you very much. I'm looking forward very much to reading lots of interesting and ambitious applications over the next few months.
So thank you, Zainab, for sharing that video. So we're now we're ready to take questions. I'm sure there are questions. I can see if some people have put questions in the chat, and we have some hands up. Dr. Hewer, would you like to ask your question? So Shakan asks, will we have a postdoc course? Well, we don't offer a postdoc scheme at the moment because, at the moment we're focusing very much on graduate work in the UK. However, we do offer lots of different support for people who already experienced researchers in Iraq. Well, I might ask Mehiar, perhaps once we've had the questions about this scholarship, to talk about our other research capacity training programs. And we were actually in a session earlier today with one which was very successful. Oh, hello, Professor Dilshad. It's nice to see your question. So you've asked, is it questions specialised in linguistics? Well, we, as you've seen from the list of master's programmes, we only work with archaeology, cultural heritage and history. Within the ancient history programme, it is possible to study the languages of ancient Iraq. So if you want to develop your knowledge of Sumerian and Akkadian, you can do that within the context of the ancient history programme. But we don't have a collaboration with the linguistics department. So it is just those main topics. I've got something in the chat as well. Let me just see, do we have any? Oh, Hader, would you like to speak? I think we've been given permission to speak. And then we'll take Mohammed, and I'll just give Mohammed permission to speak as well.
Hello, Professor Eleanor. Do you hear me?
Hello, welcome. I can.
Welcome. Yeah. Hello, everyone hearing me now, and thank you so much for this interesting meeting. Really, we appreciate your efforts to organize it. I'm Muhannad Al-Husseini from Mosul, Iraq. Recently graduated from Ikram Capacity Building Program, and during 1 year of studying with collaboration with the University of Mosul. So now I'm in my first year in master degree, University of Mosul Structural Department. And I'm asking if there is any opportunity to complete my second year, my research in UK with related with cultural heritage or heritage stuff with any university you dealing with them, and also collaboration with University of Mosul. Actually, I need that in these days because of, in my first year, and I need to contact the university, a professor in University of Mosul and professor from an UK university, because of, here in Mosul, there is a lack of, I can do anything related with cultural heritage just for concrete or some kind of regular building. And after Ikram course in Mosul, I established an NGO, Iraq Heritage Foundation for Cultural Development, with my colleagues. So we start still working on cultural heritage in Mosul in many sites as a volunteer. So I need to improve myself and to enhance my for this stuff. I can go for concrete or something like that. So if there is any opportunity to make my research in UK, there's the first question. The second one, if there is not possible, how can I apply? If there's any opportunity to apply to another master degree related with cultural heritage or conservation work. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you, Mohammed. I know your work in Mosul, and it's really very impressive. So we are constrained by what the university allows us to do in terms of admissions, and normally, as I said, they will only require people to already have a master's programmed for admission to the master's, and we don't. The university does not operate an exchange program within master's programs. So unfortunately, that's not going to work to do that. However, there are two other opportunities that would be very relevant to you, given your experience. One is our visiting scholarship, which is a 2-month visit to the UK to work with a host institution. And we've got opportunities open at the moment for that. Zainab's just posted a link to our last year's webinar about the visiting scholarships, and we'll also be running another one next month as well. And then we also are planning to launch a new funding scheme in the spring, in May, offering up to £5,000 for small research projects, which could include travel, but it can't be just for travel, it has to involve research. We're finalising the details of that at the moment, so I don't have too much to share with you yet. So yeah, so don't worry, people, if you're not eligible for this scheme, there are several others that we run. So we don't run a visiting, sorry, a long-term postdoc scheme, but we've got the visiting scholarships where you can come and work for up to 2 months. And Professor Dilshad has done that. He could perhaps talk about that later. And yeah, there are funding schemes as well to support your research.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, great, my pleasure. And who is next? Is it Dr. Hader? Hader or Mahan? Yes, please.
Hello.
Speak. Hello, welcome.
Hey, Professor. Can you hear me?
I can.
Perfect. Thank you for your time, and I want to thank Zainab also about this opportunity. I have master in the history, and I'm planning to continue to study the PhD in London, and it's really great chance to give us to ask you about a few things here. Yeah, it's really good. But the problem that you told us that the family, it's so hard to me to leave my children because I'm the only one who taking care of them. Can you just explain more about the family? Can they follow with me or not?
So yeah, this is not us. This is the British government. They changed the rules this year, so that from January, so from next year, into any international student coming to Britain to study a master's has to come on their own. They can't bring their family. However, for a PhD, it is possible. Now, that's because I think the British government thinks that all master's students are very, very young. They don't understand that in Britain, normally our master's students do it straight after their undergraduate degree and they're 21, 22. They haven't married yet. They haven't started a family. And the government doesn't understand that in many parts of the world, people do their masters later in life, and they do have responsibilities and they do have families. And unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. There's nothing the university can do. They've tried, all the universities have argued with the government, tell them this is a wrong and a big problem, but the government will not change its mind for the moment. So yeah, that's something you will all need to think about if you do have families. How will you manage for for probably up to at least 6 months. So the way UCL works is that teaching mostly for master's levels happens between October and March for 6 months, and then you're spending most of your time doing your dissertation. So it is possible to travel home at that point as long as you can continue working on your dissertation and you keep contact with your supervisor, particularly if you're doing field work in Iraq that's related to your dissertation. But yeah, unfortunately, that's one element that nobody in any of the British universities has any control over, and it's not something that anybody is happy with. So yeah, there is unfortunately no way around that.
Yeah, it was a really good answer. I appreciate that. And just one short question about the English. Is it? I can English, but I have no degree or something because I studied in Arabic. My master. Must I have English or something to show the university that I have, or can I study English in the UK?
Yeah, so there are lots of ways to demonstrate that you have English. You're speaking very good English now and you're understanding everything I say. So there's a so Zainab, could you post in the chat the link to the university webpage about the different English language tests?
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, so that's what we need people to do, is to take the test before they apply. Because I mean, Ali has also posted in the Q&A the very real language barriers there are, but unfortunately, you know, we have limited funds, and more in particular, we have a very clear focus that constrains what we can do with our money. The way that our funding was given to us, it's not for funding English language programs. It is for funding research about the past.
Yeah.
I think, and you know, it would be terrible to bring people to London who didn't have enough language to study their degree, and they would be miserable and not understand things, and it wouldn't be successful. So we've learned, sadly, over the last 3 years that we have to be really clear about this up front, because in the past we have offered the scholarship to people conditional on them then passing the English language test later, and they haven't done, and it's been very disappointing for everybody, and we've all put a lot of work into making it happen and it hasn't worked. So this year we're trying it this way, and if that doesn't work, then we will think again. But I think but given we've only got one scholarship, again, I really emphasize this, and they cost a lot of money to fund. So we would rather spend a lot of money on funding lots of research projects and visiting scholarships that lots of people can take, and one graduate studentship, rather than just say, even if we said 2 graduate studentships, that would take away so much money from the rest of our programs, because the fees and the living costs, etc., are so expensive. So yeah, it's a difficult decision to make about how we allocate our money within the framework that we can operate in. But the British Council in Iraq is doing a lot of good work on English language as well. So do look at their website too.
Yeah. It was a great answer. I want to thank you so much, and I wish you all the luck, and everyone here, good luck with your future and your studies, and have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Hader. And Mana, please, would you let me give you there we are. You can unmute yourself, Mana.
Hello, dear doctor. Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Hello. I am I'm very happy to meet you in this webinar and talk to you. I am a PhD student in second year, and I have very interest and a lot of research in heritage and material and preservation. And now I am studied in this field actually. Uh, my question about I can participate in this scholarship and
I
what the
think
period of it.
I think the better scheme for you, Manar, is our visiting scholarships, where we do offer funds for PhD students to come to the UK for a while. So you'd remain registered for your PhD at your university in Iraq, but you could come and work with an academic in the UK for a few months and develop a relationship with them. So that might be a more sensible way forward for you, given that you're already, as you say, in your second year of your PhD.
Very good.
So
Actually, this start in which month?
I apologize, I didn't hear that last comment.
Sorry, in which month will be start this scholarship?
That so the visiting scholarship, we arrange that for whatever suits you. So that, yeah, there isn't a fixed time for that. So that can be arranged around your needs. Obviously, for the full scholarship that we're talking about today, that starts in late September at the beginning of the British university year, which is very similar to the Iraqi one. But the visiting scholarships can happen at any time.
Very good, very good. Actually, I make the IELTS exam 2 years ago and take 5 and a half. So I don't know it's enough or I need to repeat this exam.
If you're doing the short visiting scholarship, you don't need a formal English language test for that. And from the fact that we can have this conversation shows that you already have enough for the short-term visiting scholarship. But yeah, you would need to retake the test if you were applying for the long graduate studentship, because it's too long ago since you've taken your test. It has to be 2 years.
No, I need only a few months.
Yeah, if you just need a few months, and please apply for the visiting scholarship. It would be perfect for you. You don't need to take a formal English language test. And so I think Zainab, when's our webinar on that? What did we say?
It's going to be December 7th for the
December
I'll put the
7th.
link. Yeah. I'll put the link for the registration in the chat right now if anyone's interested in attending the Q&A for that. Yeah.
Okay. So we've had a couple of questions about doctoral programs. So apologies if you joined late and missed it. So the UCL, so the university, not us, set academic standards for admission for everybody, for all programs. And because UCL is a top 10 university in the world and it has very, very high academic standards, if you would have to, if you already have a master's, you are eligible to be admitted to a 1-year master's program at UCL. But think of that as a training year, as a year to prepare yourself for a 3-year PhD. It's all fully funded and it would help you integrate better. I think coming in straight into a PhD program without knowing the British system would be really, really difficult. And so even if I think it's a really good thing to practice being in a British university with a master's course. So I don't think it's a bad thing at all, and don't think it's don't think it's a problem. I think it's an opportunity really to really learn how the British academic system works and prepare a PhD with a proposal within the British system.
Thank you so much. Have a nice night.
Thank you, Mana. They were great questions. And we've got some more questions. Ibrahim, I'm going to ask you to unmute now. And then we'll come to Ali. Ibrahim, please ask your question.
Good evening, Doctor, Professor.
Good evening. It's nice to meet you. Thank you for joining us.
I am very
very well.
happy to enjoy talking with you. I am employed in the Minister lecture in Iraq. I work in department legal department. My background study, my baccalaureate in Iraq in law, and complete master degree in Egypt, University Al-Iskandariya, private law. I want complete study in master or PhD degree in heritage. I can do that.
Yes, yes. So the British system is a bit different to the Iraqi one. It's quite common for people to move between disciplines. So if you have your first degree is in law or engineering and you want to study cultural heritage or archaeology, that's fine with us. As long as your employer is happy with that and it's not going to create a problem for you in Iraq, then it's certainly not a problem for us. Some of you might know my undergraduate degree is in mathematics, so it is really possible to move between different subject areas.
I asked some university in London, but I waiting answer about these questions.
I don't know about the University of London. Good. Well, I hope that's helpful. We have a question from, I should also answer while we're doing this, answer Rayanne's question, which is also similar to yours, about government employees. Yeah, if your employer is willing to support you to take time off or you want to leave your job, then that's absolutely fine. I mean, if your work is relevant to what you want to study, that's even better. Tell us about how your professional experience has contributed to your interest in the programs. Okay, Ali, please.
Hello, Professor. Good afternoon.
Welcome.
I'm happy to meet you, and thank you for this invite. Do you hear me?
I do. It's my pleasure. Welcome.
Welcome to. I have Baccalaureate of Business Management from Rafidain University in Baghdad. I have some questions. First questions: is there any cost should I pay to join this program? The second question: how many years should I stay in UK to complete this program?
Okay. Good
third
questions. Can I answer those first and then we'll take the others because they're very simple, so easy to answer. One, no costs. No costs at all for everything. Yeah. And then the second answer is that all the MA programs and the MSc programs are 1 year. So if you just want to do the masters, that's great, you do that, and then we've got more money to spend on more masters programs. But if you want, then if you're enjoying the masters program and you're good at it, and you want to stay on to do a PhD and the department you're working in wants to stay, then we will also fund that for another 3 years. So it's normal that PhDs in full-time work study for PhD in Britain is 3 years. So it's either 1 year or up to 4 years.
Oh, it's okay. The third question, is there any degree should I have from my university?
In particular subject area, that's not so important. The importance is the quality of your degree. As I said, it needs UCL, the university needs it to be a master's degree of a very good or 80% standard. And unfortunately,
80%?
we don't have.
Should I have 80%?
Yeah. Yes, that's the university's rule, not mine.
I have maybe 66%.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's not going to be good enough for the university. You know, UCL is one of the best universities in the world, so it's really it's really insists on very high academic standards. Somebody else was asking about English language requirements, and let me just post that in the chat here. Then Shahad, and then I might ask after Shahad, I think I will ask our current student, Nian, to speak for a little bit about how she's experienced it. Shahad, please. Let me there we are, I think we're ready to talk. Shahad, would you like to talk? I think you're unmuted. Shahad, no?
Evening.
Shahad, hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for the beautiful details about the introduction about the program. I love to ask, I have a master's degree in modern history, and I would like to complete my study, to take the PhD. And I will, and I asked, I have master's degree about 8 years ago. That's okay?
Perfect. Yes. Yes. That's not a problem. There's no time limit on your
academic. It's not a gap between the master degree and PhD?
Not a problem at all. No, not a problem. But it's a great
Okay,
question.
that's wonderful, because my father, he's complete his PhD in London in Swansea University. He have a PhD in physics and nuclear. Hello?
Hello, sorry, we lost you for a minute there. You were telling us about your father.
It's okay. I told you my dream to complete my PhD in London, because my father he's take the PhD from Swansea University in nuclear physics.
Oh, he sounds a very clever man.
Yes, he's a clever man. Yes, only me. I go to the history. My big sister is a doctor. Another one is a doctor. Only me, the black sheep in the family.
Well, you're with friends here, Shahad.
No, I guess you are clever because you have a great job. So you are a clever woman. So you are Iron Woman.
But thank you for your question. Talking of clever women, I'm going to ask Nian. I think
Thank you.
Here. Thank you, Shahad. Nian, would you like to speak? And then we'll come to Ali's question next. Because Nian is joined us last year for a master's and has now started her PhD. So, Nian, would you like to say hi?
Hi, Eleanor. Hello, everyone. Thank you.
So, do you want to tell us your master's last year and what you're doing now?
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for giving me this chance to talk about my experience. For everyone here who doesn't know me, I'm Yan Hussein Ibrahim. I am from Suleimani City, and my background was urban planning, or is urban planning, and I have a master's degree in urban planning. So I was the first. I have the first studentship with Nahrein network. I'm studying currently with Bartlett with Sustainable Heritage Institute, and last year I did my master's, which was I can say it was a good chance for me to prepare better for my PhD. And I also want to add that the language requirement, which is set by UCL, it is really required because the programs are very intense, and without the language, you cannot cope and go on. And also the studentship covers everything, so you don't have to worry about the financials and anything else. And right now I'm doing my PhD. It's my first year, and I have a lot of trainees, and I'm taking some courses as well. But hello?
Yes, we can still hear you, Nian.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I want to say that doing the master's before the PhD, actually it is like your preparing time, because when you start your PhD, you don't have time to prepare. You just start, and the 3 years count from the moment you start. So the 1 year master's program, they will help you a lot actually to develop your proposal, to know what you want to do more, and to find a supervisor who can supervise the work. So that's what I have to say. And if there's any other questions, I am happy to answer.
Thank you, Nian. I think that's a really good point, actually. I think it would be really difficult to start the PhD without any preparation in London, wouldn't it?
Yeah, actually, because the whole culture is different, the language is different, and the education system is different from what we have in Iraq. So the 1 year master will prepare you for all that.
Great. So thank you, Nian. I'm going to answer Mohammed's question that's come in the Q&A. And then we'll come back to you, Ali, for your question, your live question. So Mohammed asks, can you apply for a PhD scholarship without having finished a master's? I think that would be rather difficult. I think you'd need, UCL wouldn't accept that. So you'd have to finish your master's, get a good degree in your master's program, and then apply after that. So don't rush it. You'd have to apply for next year, not this year. And I think also we've answered Rasha's question about doctoral programs, that that you'd apply through the Institute for Sustainable Heritage, which is within the Faculty of Architecture. But as Nian says, that year of masters is really essential for preparation for PhD. Okay, so we have some more questions that people want to talk. So I am going to ask Ali, and then we'll come to Haneen. Ali first. Hello, Ali.
Hello, Professor. I'm very sorry for the second hands up. I want to ask just one question. Is there any chance to join this program if I have 66 degree or 60? There's no chance?
As I said, no, but it's not our decision. It's the university. It's a standard thing that applies to everybody, whichever program you apply for. I'm
There
sorry
is no chance, right?
No. And they said that's not my decision, but I can tell you that now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Even if we put you forward, it wouldn't be it wouldn't meet the threshold criteria. So even with our support, the university wouldn't accept it. I'm very sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
But
Not at
be
all.
realistic. Haneen. Haneen, please ask your question. Just unmute yourself. You're ready to talk.
Hello. Hello. Hello, Professor Eleanor. Sorry, Eleanor. I have question about. I get my master from University of Al Qadisiyah. Archaeologist. Ancient. I would like to get a PhD from your university. I ask about how long they study in your university, and how much the eldest thesis or.
So I beg your pardon. I'm sorry, Haneen. I didn't hear the last part of the question. You asked me how long it takes to study, and then I didn't hear the second part. So
yes,
it takes.
And ask about IELTS exam.
Oh, IELTS exam. Yes, you'll need to take an IELTS test or a TOEFL test.
I want to take PhD in archaeologist.
Yeah, you'll need to do a master's degree first, as Nian explained.
From University of Al Qadisiyah. I have a master.
Yeah. So the way the British system works is very different from the Iraqi one. So we need you to do the British master's degree for 1 year, partly because the academic standards are very different, but also because the culture is very different. And as Nian explained, it's really that year is really a PhD preparation year, and it sets you up for a good PhD. So we won't take people straight into the PhD program because it would be really unfair. We would be setting you up to fail, and it would be really miserable. So it's the year of masters to prepare you for the PhD, and then the PhD, even if you've got a PhD already. So Heidi's asking, are there any other programs that people are eligible for? Well, I'll post in the chat. The Chevening scholarships operate at UCL across the whole range of programs. So if you see if the ones that we're running are not suitable for you, then do look at the Chevening scholarships, and which are much wider. I'll find the reference to that in a minute. What's the latest date to have the English test? I think probably, well, you'll need the English test, the results before we interview you. So really the middle of January at the very, very latest. And Mohammed asked, so I'll repeat again, the master's level for admission is 80% or very good. So that's what UCL requires. And we've linked to that on the website as well. So just to emphasize. Does anyone have any questions for Nian about what it's like to study in London, or what it was like to move her or to prepare for the program?
Hello.
Hello. Oh,
Yeah.
Ibrahim has a question. And so let's take Ibrahim's question. Maybe that's for you, Nian.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to also add that if you intend to apply for the PhD, it is really important to have a proposal in mind, and you can develop it later, but it is really important to know what you want, because during the course you're taking, you have a limited time to decide what you want for your PhD. So it is better if you have something in mind and you have some details, then later you can develop it later to submit it for the program.
No, that's a really good point, Nian. So Ibrahim, would you like to unmute and ask your question?
Yes, Professor.
Welcome.
Welcome to. I ask you, this program have 2 scholarship, PhD and master degree?
Yeah, we don't said it's that. No, they're together. You do the masters and then you do the PhD. We don't accept people to go straight to the PhD for all the reasons that Nian explains. You will need a year before you do your PhD to get used to the British system and to prepare your proposal. So you can just think of it as a 4-year PhD application with a preparation year. But yeah, we can't, university won't let us, and we don't think it's a good idea for people to come straight to the PhD from Iraq. It's so different.
Professor, I have the second questions. My work in Minister here in Iraq, I asked him for do the program. Tell me you must ask how to regulate this program, and must I have any paper I can complete my study in heritage, because my background is study in law. Yeah, I waiting any email paper I can complete to do this in my office, in my department. Yeah.
I'm not quite sure I understand the question.
I tell you, Professor, my background all study master, the baccalaureate in law. I want to complete a study in heritage, because I work employ a minister lecture. Yeah.
Yes.
My department, it's all work. I need the complete master degree in heritage. Can this program give me email and paper to give this paper for my office department?
So yeah, if you were selected to have the scholarship, we would work with your department to get the right paperwork. We've done that in the past. We've had an applicant in the past who needed letters, and then if you did get the qualification, then you would have it. But it's much more important at the moment to focus on your English language test. Because without an English language qualification, IELTS or TOEFL, we can't take it forward. So it doesn't matter which sort of master's degree you have, which subject, as long as it's of the right standard. But UCL does insist on a recent English language test.
Yeah, I will do that where I accept him. But the first step, I need anything I can do order for this program. Anything I can do this order.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't understand. Maybe somebody else can help me. Zainab or Mahia, do you understand? What am I missing? I'm feeling a bit silly here.
Okay, thank you, Professor.
مرحبا دكتور إبراهيم، إذا تحب تسأل السؤال بالعربي.
مرحبا أستاذ.
أهلا أهلا.
أنا قلت للبروفيسور أنا موظف بوزارة الثقافة الهيئة العامة للآثار القسم القانوني، تمام؟
نعم.
أنا
نعم.
البكالوريوس والماجستير هو قانون، تمام، بالقانون الخاص. تمام. من اعلنتوا على البرنامج، من اعلن على البرنامج وتقدمت شبكة نهرين انه ارسلت خطاب للوزارة مالتنا للهيئة العامة للآثار بانه اذا عندكم احد الموظفين يريد يقدم. انا من جيت اقدم قالوا لي لازم تسأل المنظمين للبرنامج هل انت لك حق تقدم؟ انه هو مختص بجانب التاريخ والآثار والتراث، فأنت اختصاصك قانون، فكيف أنه راح تقدم على هذا البرنامج؟ لازم تسألهم وتجيب لنا أي وثيقة أنه من الممكن أنت تقدم، وبعدين بعد ما تقدم وتنقبل عود.
هي ماكو مشكلة لأنه مثل ما تفضلت بروفيسور إلينور هي همينة دارسة كانت رياضيات.
فاهم انه
فانت بس محتاج رساله
انه حتى عندها علم دائرتي انه من الممكن اقدم حتى يكون يعني هم عندهم دراسه ملفات، لان كذا طالب راح يعني كذا موظف موجود عندنا راح يقدم. تمام. فانا من جيت ارفع اسمي انه انا راح اقدم على هذا البرنامج، اخذ عدم ممانعه للتقديم، يعني عندنا نظام انه
تمام
لازم تكون موافقه مسبقه.
ما اعتقد اكو مشكله. دكتور مهيار يعني do you think it's okay to يعني for him to get a letter like that رساله للهيئه؟
السلام عليكم استاذ ابراهيم، شلونك؟
Sorry, Mahia, you talk.
The issue, Elena, in brief, in summary, he has a specific specialization in law. He works with SPH in Baghdad, and he wants to apply for the program, but he needs permission to apply for a program from SPH first before he does. I think the best thing to do is for us to speak to Ibrahim later on. استاذ ابراهيم ممكن يعني راح ادز لك الايميل مالتي اوكي وراسلني او نتكلم بعد المحاضره حتى نحاول يعني نحل هاي المشكله، لانه اعرف هيئه الاثار مخليه شروط شروط التقديم، فممكن نناقش هذا الموضوع ما بعد المحاضره.
تمام استاذ، شكرا جزيلا.
الله يخليك، شكرا. We'll go to the next question. Karzan.
Karzan, you're welcome to ask your question. Hello, welcome.
Oh, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Perfect, yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry, I joined the meeting a bit late. I have a certain question regarding the UCL Nahrein PhD. If you don't mind, I have some questions.
Sure.
Yeah. Is it important to do IELTS test before applying for the PhD? This is my first question. The second question, because my IELTS test has been expired, and then I have to retake the IELTS test very soon, but I'm not sure about the result. Is it possible to apply before I get my result? This is the first question. The second question is I couldn't actually follow the application online. Is it also possible to contact the person in charge, I mean the professors in the heritage, before I apply?
So first of all, your first question, yes, you can apply before you've taken your test, but you will need to show your certificate. Where if we ask you, if you are shortlisted, we will ask everybody who's shortlisted for evidence of their recent test, and we will not interview you if you don't have a recent test. You're welcome to contact individual departments for general questions about the programs, but the application for this funding is managed by us, not by the departments. Well, it's managed in conjunction with the departments, so they won't make decisions independently of us. If anyone's having problems with accessing the web form, then please contact us. We've had 7 applications already, so I know the form is working. What I will say about those applications, though, is that they've all been really short. They're one-line answers, and that is not enough information for us to make a decision. So when you do apply, please spend some time thinking about the questions. You can go back and edit your submission any time before the closing date. So you can start your application at any point and keep coming back to it until you're happy with it. And we'll only look at them once the application is over.
Right. And the proposal must be submitted as well, or the later on we can edit the proposal?
Yeah, so Gay, you must have missed this at the beginning. The element about the PhD proposal is not so important at this point, because quite a few of our applicants only want to study the masters anyway, and that is good too. But if you do have some ideas about it, that's interesting for us to know about, but that's not going to be decisive in our decision making. Really, we're looking for good master applications at the moment.
Okay, and I'm sorry for I have a other question in my mind right now. My master is related to landscape architecture, but my bachelor is in architecture, and I have some researches regarding the heritage or historical things. So it will be a problem if your master not really related to the topic.
No, I mean your existing masters, no, that's not a problem. But it sounds like it is. I mean, it sounds like you'd be very eligible for the to do study in the Institute for Sustainable Heritage, which is in the architecture faculty. So yeah, I don't think that's a problem at all.
Oh, thank you very much. Maybe later I will submit some questions. For now, I have enough information. Thank you very much indeed.
Right. So Haida asks, I've got to study at university in Iraq and have a master's in Lebanon. Is that still possible to apply? Yes, it is. You'll also see on the UCL website, Haida, what the Lebanese expectations. Let me just check that for you now. I'll just follow the link while we're talking. The civil engineer who asks about how much training courses count. Well, they count a little bit, but because this is academic study, we really do need, or the university really needs to see evidence of high academic achievement as well, because it's not a practical course. It's that these are all quite theoretical courses that involve a lot of reading and writing and producing research. So that's why the academic levels are high for admission. Okay, so let me just find that link to the Lebanese qualifications, and then I think we will close the seminar quite soon, because we've been talking for an hour. So this is your last chance to ask questions live. If you have questions that we haven't answered, or you would like to talk to us privately, Zainab, could you just put the link to our email in the chat, please? And let me just put the Lebanon link in. There we go. Great. So I hope that's been helpful. If anything else you'd like to know, please contact us. As I said, this meeting has been recorded, and so you're welcome to listen to it again. This is just an information seminar for our program, so we don't normally give certificates of attendance for this, because it's because it doesn't really have any academic content. It's just how to apply for the scheme. Do look out for our webinar next month on the 7th of December about the Visiting Scholarships Programme. And then in the new year, we'll be hopefully launching our new funding scheme for small grants. So do keep in touch with us. And thank you very, very much for joining. And thank you very much indeed to Dr. Mehia and to Zainab and to Nian for joining us this evening as well. Thank you.